going to talk about the start of the journey as a UI artist in a triple game industry. Bam. If we're talking about the hard elements, or inventory system, or the wheels, the gadget wheels, maps, any kind of main menus or front end, all of this is a UI.
Does anybody here knows what UI is, actually? Not really. Okay, so it's the user interface. When you create games, you create artificial worlds for players to actually explore and discover. And what we are doing as UI artists, we create simple tools which help players understand the world as it is.
And here we are, the UI artist at Ubisoft. Here's my colleague and dear friend Ilija Pantelić.
And this is Diana Koltsova.
We wanted to share our story, how we got into the game dev. Who's going to start first?
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, it's gonna be me.
Come on.
So my game dev journey, I would like to actually say that it started many years ago when my cousin gave me his Super Nintendo, because you know it was last gen. He was enjoying all that good stuff of Nintendo 64 had to offer, 3D and all that cool stuff. But I was just intrigued with 2D pixel perfect sprites that Super Nintendo had to offer, and I was super happy with playing Super Mario Bros. I know 2 supers in a sentence, cool. And it was an amazing experience for me because I could just dive into the artificial world and just play around and do whatever. And in the time when I got older, I almost always had, you know, just a bit worse computers than the average guy should have. And I couldn't really play that many games. And of course, my parents didn't want me to ruin my life with video games. And as you can see how that turned out now. I always played, you know, the last gen games and all that stuff. And in the meantime, I got to read a lot, play the guitar, and learn how to draw. I went to art school, where I became an art technician. I used to do a lot of you know, classical art training, drawing with any single technique possible and all that stuff. And after that, I decided to become an architect for a reason. And for that dream of mine, and of course I became a master of architecture in the end, but the good thing about that, which is like totally useless for this job most of the time, that dream required a good graphics card, and you know what else runs well on graphics cards? So video games. And in the meantime, when I wasn't doing any of the schoolwork, I was actually playing games and ruining my life, and in the end, you know, just getting all the experience needed to actually get where I'm here now. And I wasn't never really just playing games. I was trying to break them. I was always trying to, you know, get the basic understanding of how they actually work. So there are many games which I just broke and couldn't finish because I did some stupid thing and all this stuff. So it was super useful for me. And my journey in Ubisoft started when I firstly wanted to apply for the level design position, and it was taken. Thank you for that. And yeah, UI was open, and I gave it a shot because I was doing UI in a really small studio for mobile game dev before that, like 6 months during the masters. And in the end, it turned out to be just the thing that I was looking for. So even if you're not actually sure what you want to do, just give something a shot, and it might just pull you into, and you might just fall in love. How about you, Dixie? How was your journey here?
Okay, my journey starts a little bit far away. I'm from Russia, from Moscow. Small city to Moscow, but we all say that we're from Moscow. You know how it goes. So, anyway, I was studying there when a small kid, go to art school, quit it. Go to art university, guess what? Quit it again. And decided to go freelance. So I was working with some companies in Europe, in Russia, doing the web application, web design, a little bit of IT, and got lucky and got a job in Singapore and Bangkok. So for the last 3.5 years before came in here in Belgrade, I was living and working there with a huge corporate, working for the marketing company, for the social media, you know, all this stuff, advertising campaigns, working for some game publisher. So around that, and I was trying to figure out what actually I want to do. Do I like this environment? Do I like these people? How it works out for me, right? The community and everything. And then one project popped up. It was a theme park project, can I say the name? But we were doing the UI for the VR there. And I found the people. I was like, oof, the passion, people who like to play games, who want to enthusiastic, who just want to integrate, who want to make something out of this. And I was amazed of this. I was like, I want it. I want to be right here, right there. And all my game experience was some adventure games, some games on the console. So I wasn't that of a gamer or that close into this. It was my journey, right? And I started to go deeper there. So I was like, okay, need to change the field, want to go to game dev, love it. How to get there? Pandemic hits, nothing, closed, sitting there, not knowing what to do, feel a little bit lost. I feel like all of us, right? And after all these months and years in Asia, I just realized I need to move on a little bit to find my path and my journey, and bought one-way ticket to Belgrade. Why Belgrade? I mean, government issues, okay, we know, like visas and all this stuff, but also I was like, I've never been here, it's a Europe, let's figure it out. And I came there, and for the last month, when I just joined the Belgrade, I was passing by the Ubisoft office. So it's happening in Starigrad, like in the city center, and I was just passing the road, and they have a huge black flags hanging out with the Ubisoft sign. And I was like, oof, these flags. And I was so scared to even try. Like, in Singapore, we have a Ubisoft as well studio. No, I didn't even open the website or application, you know, huge imposter syndrome. No, not for me, not going to get it. So passing by day, and just like, you know what, why not? Just why not? And one day I opened the website and saw the UI artist position, and I just like shaking hands like I have right now, click one button, apply. Long story short, we are here, right? So yeah.
In that process, I mean, while we applied and all of that thing, we cannot actually say how many people applied, but it was 2 out of many people.
So
Not to discourage you, of course, but that's why we have the next section, of course, how you can get into the game dev. Because, of course, we can tell you about our stories, but what we wanted to do here is just to make a cheat sheet for you guys how to present yourselves well in order to actually get a job.
First things first, we start with CV and portfolio, right? So it's basic requirements, all company need it. All companies say, have a good CV, have a nice portfolio. What does it mean? So, tips and tricks, want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Of course, portfolio is one of the most stressful thing an artist can make, because you want to represent yourself in the best way possible, but you're not sure if you want to overdo it, put a lot of projects. No, just focus on the things which you think will represent you the best. For example, even though I was applying for the UI position, I'm an architect, and I did the master's on Cyberpunk, and it was all pretty game looking, so I even showed that in the portfolio as well, even though it wasn't UI at all. I just wanted to show them that I am kind of close to that. I couldn't show the things that I was doing before because of the NDA. The game will probably never end up releasing, but whatever. So I couldn't show that, but I was doing some mock-ups of my own and some of the projects I was doing in France, so I also put that in the portfolio. But the thing you actually should not worry about is the portfolio itself. It should just, I know it's weird because we're talking about portfolio, but the thing you want to focus on is how you will represent your mindset there, because what they're looking for is a mindset, because if you have a right mindset, all the things that you cannot do can be easily taught to you, and you can learn it, understand it with the right mindset, and that's the only thing they're looking for. If you ask me, my portfolio wasn't good enough, but I was given a chance because of the mindset I displayed, and the test itself later on is the more important thing, but we'll get to that later. How was your thing, Dixie?
Yeah, regarding portfolio, just hands up, how many creatives are here, people who do arts or something? Can you just raise the hands a little bit so I understand? All of us are here. Wow, love it. Okay, so the idea is that if we're doing the art, right, and we're saying that we are artists, designers, whatever we are, our portfolio CV is our front face. Don't make the word. Don't make, hey, here I am, check it out, 2 links, and that's it. Make it visually, especially if you go into UI, it's literally what we're doing right here, right? So even if you don't have super strong portfolio with the Ships games, AAA, all of these reviews, make it visually pleasing. Because all of us are going to sit and check it out, your portfolios one by one, and be like, oh, this is cool design, let's give it a chance. So after the first step, people who are in the company will decide to give you a chance to continue for the next stage. And it's going to be a test.
So now the test is the tricky part because it's the most important thing you'll be doing here. And the thing you need to focus on is just writing everything down. Good ideas, bad ideas, it doesn't matter. Just write everything down and then give yourself some time to actually classify the ideas into not good and bad, but the ideas which would work and not work for this current thing that you're doing and the time frame you're given, because you'll be given a pretty short amount of time and you will surely not sleep. But also write down all the things that you want to do and all the things that you seen. For example, if they give you any references, just write everything down. You can attach in the portfolio your notes, your sketches, whatever, because what you want to do is show them the process and your mindset, and the mindset is better. And yeah, it's best displayed with the process itself and how you write things, how you take notes, and how you actually think and your creative process. So write everything down and give yourself some time to panic as well. You will.
Look, you're definitely going to panic. I slept 2 hours, I didn't take a shower, and I was like, oh my god, I failed. I was literally standing 2 minutes before deadline the test. So it is happening, and we're all trying to be perfectionists, right? We want to make pixel perfect, 100% in, because we want to get a job. I mean, I hope you want to get a job if you're applying. So anyway, it's not going to happen. It's kind of be impossible to make, it's literally impossible to make 100%. And you will feel like, oh, this is not done, this can be better, right? We all will be there, and you're going to shake, and I was shaking, and that's okay. That's okay, that's normal. Deep breathe in, showing, hey, this is what I want to, this is the process, this is the notes. Literally take a picture of your sketches, pen and paper, put it there. People want to see your hands, obviously want to see what you can do, but much more important that Ilija mentioned is what is here. That's what we are looking for, okay? Mindset and the people. The interviews, the funny part. So now you need to talk to the people, and pretty much multiple people. So could be several interviews, depends on the process, depends on the job position that you're applying to, but it will take time to talk.
You can think about the interviews like a verbal portfolio or something like that, because again, I know I'm boring with the notes, but take notes even for this part. If you have a web presentation, or just they're talking to you via call online or whatever, be prepared for that. Go through all the things you can think of and just be prepared. Take a lot of notes, not only on the questions they will ask you, but also about the thing that you'll be talking about, because in the heat of the moment you might be stressed a bit. I mean, you'll surely be stressed because this is all that you actually want to do. And they might ask some tricky questions, and you need to stand your ground, be firm about it, know what you're talking about. And in my case, I had my laptop in front of me and my desktop monitor behind that laptop. So I was constantly going through stuff I wanted to say. I had notes everywhere. It was a mess. And in the end, the most important thing that you can do is just present yourself as you are. And if you will do that better with notes, just do it, because the people who are interviewing you will only have half an hour to get to know you, and it's not really cheating. I even told my mentor afterwards, I had a lot of things displayed there and I was kind of cheating. He's like, no, that's not cheating. That's all that I want to hear, because I know that I hired a person that wants this like 110%. And even if it's a video call and you're displayed only up to this, please wear pants.
Yeah, I remember I was like, I remember my mentor asked me, do you have a pen and paper? We're going to draw something right now. Oof, like pen, paper, what is pen, what is paper, which hand I'm writing, like all of this. But yeah, practice. Ideally, if you can imagine what the questions could be, to practice it before the interview, so you already know. Even if you practice it really badly and you're like, oof, it's better to have at least one shot, right? So my idea would be just to start who you are and be yourself over there. I know we have right way to explain, right? We have all these our tips even. Be yourself, be who you are. Yes, the company is choosing you, but you're also choosing the company. And you need to work with these people, communicate them for a long journey if you decide to join us. That's why I think it's really important, just be who you are and find your role, and we'll talk a little bit more how you can progress. So yeah, newbie in UB. You got the position. You're there, first day in the office. I was picking up what to wear like for half an hour, I feel. I was like, oof, should I wear the shirt? Should I wear the pants? How I'm going to react? And it was really smooth. And it was so nice just come in and people standing up and say hi, and you have a huge tour around the office when people say, hey, I'm here, like, you know, my name is Nicola. Oh, my name is Nicola too. Ha, one more Nicola here. So that's how I got the Serbia. But yeah.
So now that you have a job, now what would you do if you get a job, you know? The first thing you need to do is get a mentor. It's not actually up to you, you'll be assigned a mentor, but what you can do is just bother them with questions a lot, and your mentor's job is to make you feel comfortable in the new working environment, to onboard you and to get everything that you need, and you will build a really special bond with your mentor. As, you know, bonus points if your mentor looks like Jason Momoa, you know, that's you know, cherry on top. Sorry, Nicola. That's why we didn't want you to see the presentation beforehand. And ask your mentor a lot of questions. And by a lot of questions, I mean bother them as much as you can, right?
Definitely. I have my, last year, I was given the opportunity to be a mentor for the internship. So we have several interns that joined the company. And I was participating in the interview and hiring process, so be behind the screen and see the people nervous and actually trying to navigate. And the general idea of all the people who are interviewing you guys is to help you, to find who you are, to navigate you. And we don't know all the answers. You can say, you know what, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know, but I have this example. Maybe this is similar. Or I didn't have this experience, but I can figure out this one, right? So after we have our interns, I was a mentor for like 3-4 months, I think, and it was quite interesting for me, quite challenging to see different perspectives, and I feel like it is also the path to join from the internship to get to the company and to know a little bit more about it, if you like it, since it's quite a short period of time.
But then ask some more. You can never ask enough, because I was sitting right next to Nicola, which was, you know, a good thing for me, bad thing for him, because I was always like, hey, Nicola, hey, I need this, sorry. Because it's always better to ask them even to repeat something 3 times to you, better than, you know, not understanding it, and if you end up working on the same thing later on the real project, you might mess it up. So it's better to just spend 10 seconds of your mentor's time than to spend 3 hours on your own time and just, you know, not improve as you should.
We were given the sketchbook, similar that you get right now, but like a little bit more thicker. On first day, you know, the merch, obviously cool stuff, like t-shirts, you know. So in the end of the month, my sketchbook was filled with just asking the questions randomly, different people approaching. Pen and paper works. That's all we can say.
Also, you can use Microsoft OneNote. It's a great tool for grabbing notes. It's syncing directly with your phone, so you can have it all across all of your devices. And when they show you something new in, I don't know, your new engine or internal software that you're learning, just grab a screenshot, paste it, name the note, because in 6 months you probably won't remember what you were doing. And it's the best thing you can do is, in this case, just make a library for yourself.
So yeah, and we're going to the tools. Do you work in some creative tools? Maybe you can name something for you guys, like some. Yeah, all Adobe software, right, goes, and we still continue working it for sure. XD is also a really cool example for the UI, making menus, transitions, prototyping, cool thing. And we have internal software that Ilija.
Yeah, it is more of an integration software, because when we started in Ubi, we thought that we'll be just drawing UI, but it ended up with doing a bit more than that. We were taught in the meantime to work in that internal software, which is node-based. And with nodes, you kind of visually program the UI in order how it should work with the data that programmer will fill it in with. So it's a super interesting process for me. I was doing Blender before, so I had, you know, the bare minimum understanding of the nodes, even though these nodes work totally different. And for example, Boolean in Blender is one thing, and here it is another thing. But, you know, once you get, you know, the general feel for the stuff, it was really easy to learn. So you need to be prepared that you might be learning the new engine or improve your the knowledge that you already have. and of course learning new software.
But take it easy. I have zero programming knowledge, okay? We're all talking about here in game dev that you need to code and know it. Before I came, I have 0-1, and we learn. We have internal education platform that help you navigate, and it will be like, nobody will pressure you. There is no need to have everyone being a programmer, really. We have a good ones and we rely on them, but we are the artists and we stick to what we are doing, okay? So generally, all onboarding process, take it easy. You want to rush, you want to do everything right now, give me all the tasks, but we'll talk about the task.
Yeah, and don't forget that it's just a tool. Like Nikola told us many times, it's just a tool. Good thing to know about a tool is that you need to know its limitations, and that's the funniest thing. The difference between junior and a senior in certain software is just knowing the limitations. But don't forget that it's just a tool and you'll learn it.
And the people. When you go into an onboarding, you will see hundreds and hundreds of people. Many of them via the webcam and just hey in the meetings, but hopefully we'll join in the office more and more frequently and talk to the people. Communication. It's so boring to repeat it, but we will repeat it many times today, okay, so sorry. Talking to the people, asking questions to figure out what they're doing. Like Ubisoft is a huge company and everybody has their dedicated area of work and area of experience, right? So I would say the communication with people, ask who they are, what we should ask them as well, I feel.
Well, yeah, when you first come to the office, you're new and usually won't remember all the names, but it's not only the names of the people in the company, there are also going to be people abroad which you will be, working with, so it was many names and many of different cultural things, and it's, an amazing experience of its own, because, for example, we had a Scottish person in the call with us, and we were just smiling and nodding for a period of time because we didn't understand Scottish accent at all. And in the meantime, we got to knowing that even so,
The processes. So every company has their own processes. We're talking about the Ubisoft experience, okay, hands up. The processes are quite unique and you will be integrated in it, but you need to learn what's going behind what. Did you attend the GD's, game designers presentation in the morning? Yeah? So, okay, cool. So you're a little bit similar with their processes, right? So we have our own, and that helps to figure out in what place your job expertise is and how people can help you and what you rely on. Many times we are blocked by something, or we are waiting for something. Like the programmers waiting for our art to be finished, or we waiting for the game design documents, right? With the raccoons. So while we're waiting, we're still trying to do our best and managing the tasks and everything. Knowing the process, it will take a while, but it would be the key for you to efficiently and communicate and collaboratively work.
Yeah, and when you're in AAA industry, you need to get a lot of thumbs up from leads, directors, and all that stuff. So your ideas can firstly be filtered, tested, and go through many processes before it's, in the build and actually tested.
The first challenge. We finished onboarding, could be a month, could be 3, depends what you're doing, and you're going to give in your first actual task.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Not gonna lie, it's terrifying because you want to represent yourself in the best light possible because you worked so hard on onboarding, learning the new software, getting to know all the things that you should be doing, and things just don't work at the start because you just don't have the experience, and there are a lot of, the tiniest thing can lead to total disaster, and you will be stressed though nobody around you will actually care because it's expected of you to, not do not know what you're doing.
When you're going to give your first task, we as a UI artist in Ubisoft really close to the several job roles, but one of the most important one is the gameplay programmers, GPPs. Acronyms is your everything. Just you will get GDs, GPPs, ABC. What does it mean? It's all acronyms. Everybody is talking in codes. You don't know what it is. Ask. I asked like GPP I think 3 times until I realized what it is actually and who are these people. So yeah, it takes a while. You're working with the GPP, right? And you get a new task. You need to make a feature. For example, make a home page of the main menu. You have your concept. You're like, okay, I'm doing the concept is ready. Cool. I want to integrate it because we're doing integration as well, right? In internal software, like we mentioned. And in this type, I didn't know what can I do or what the programmer will do. You know, I see the button. We always have a button. I'm like, okay, should it be clickable? How to make it clickable? Just, you know, on fire. Brain is melting. Everything is just going. And like, okay. Easiest way was actually to talk to the programmer. I realized that after a week of trying to do myself, failed. Okay, go to the programmer, he realized, you know what? You don't need to do anything. Just transfer for me information and I will help you, and it's my job actually. So knowing the expertise and what people are doing is really, really, really helpful.
Yeah, and you can call it the first challenge, but I just like to call it you're put into the fire. You just jumped in the fire because you are expected to say how much time you will need for a certain thing you've never ever done in your life. That's the first thing. The second thing, you'll be so proud that you figure out something which is ingenious and you then realize it's, you know, just a basic procedure. That's the second thing. And the third thing, it won't work. I remember just having black screens all over the place and I didn't even have one black thing in the design, so I didn't know what was going on there. And I remember Nicola, the mentor, telling me, oh, that's my boy, just like me. For the first time, nothing works. After 3 attempts, it's going to be perfect. And in the end, it turned out to be just like that. And that's the most important thing for this thing, for you to understand, is that everybody expects you not to know what you're doing. Because you're a junior, you're a total junior, and just don't forget that.
Fail fast.
Yep.
Making mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the faster you grow. And that's how I think general feeling of the company, that you need to make mistakes. You need to fail again and again and as soon as possible. The more you fail, the more you learn, the more you grab.
Just like Georgia says, our producer, it's a good thing that this happened this early in the project. Whatever you do, whatever fail there is, blocker, he's like, yeah, it's a good thing that this happened this early in the project, even though if you're a year already in the project, but he'll just always say that and comfort you. So if you have the right management and right leads, you won't feel like you're making mistakes, but learning, which is a really cool thing, because you need support there. And if they're kind enough and professional enough, you won't feel the stress. I didn't feel stress.
The pipeline. The fun part starts. So
Yep.
how the actual pipeline works of the UI. We'll give you a pipeline. Hopefully I will manage to find some examples on the fly to you guys, but we can jump. Starts with the game doc, right? The guys over there, hands up, the game doc is done. Yes, I know, it's cool, thank you. We know the raccoons. We want to find the trash there,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
And as you know, game designers just invent the whole game. They are the main people there, the game is theirs, and we're just all revolving around their ideas and perfecting their ideas. So whatever they do, they can design a character, a mechanic, a vehicle, a weapon, whatever, and it is our job to support that idea in any way possible. So considering UI, we kind of divided these 2 parts of our jobs into 2 segments, and Diana can tell you a bit more about those.
Oh yes, before the segments. Segments is an ugly baby stage and fancy concept. But there is one chunk that is not here, but it's UX. You know, we always speak in our interviews and like in our job position, UX/UI. Like it's not working like this in Ubisoft. We have literally 2 completely different roles. People who make in the UX, you heard from the guys today in the morning, and it is not the same. So UX is providing us with the wireframes. They figured out how the user should behave, that we need to have some buttons here, the navigation, you know, between the menus, for example, right? This should be here, should be some buttons. Okay, we have a wireframe. It's a picture, usually do some XD, some Photoshop, whatever it is, with the gray boxes. And we're trying to implement it in an ugly baby stage. We grab this picture and we go into our internal tool to make it work. Make it work ugly as possible. It should work, it should kind of work. So we want to put it in the game as quick as possible to test it out. To have the walking skeleton. We have a code guys, the programmers who help us, right, as well. So all of this is just combined to integrate as fast as possible to make the testing, to figure out if it's working or not. And it can be really, really ugly. Like the gray boxes is our best friends. But the fancy part.
Yeah, the UI team can be as small as 1 person, 2 people, or it can be even up to 100 people just for the UI. And there we have artists, and we have, again, it differs from project to project, from studio to studio. The process itself differs massively everywhere. So you will have certain amounts of programmers per artist. So what the artist will do in one of the studios we're cooperating with, they will just do art, plainly art and nothing else, but we are also integrating the art we're doing. So we're kind of in between the jobs constantly, something like 2D tech artists, which is just doing 2D tech art, and UI artists who are doing the UI stuff. So what they do most of the time is just creating the guidelines, the style guides, all the good textures, all the good stuff, and they just focus on the looks. And when we integrate, figure out if there is any loopholes there, anything that those embellishments they made in order for the game to look good might hurt the functionality itself.
Yeah, regarding making mistakes, usually on the fancy concept stage, you have like 100+ mock-ups for each of the menu screen or something. So it goes with a lot of iteration to find it. And the style guide is the base, I think, of the games, to create the style guide to hope the consistency, right? So we know that people are aligned, especially if there are several artists working on the different features of the project. So we all can align and check it out over there and see if we are mistaken.
Yeah, and once it kind of works and at least 2 people agree on one thing, it's in the game. And after 100+ iterations, it will appear in the game again, but you see this little red arrow, which leads back to the game doc, is when one smart guy asks, guys, what do you think if we do just, and we're back to the drawing board. And it's, you know, the usual process, because you need to feel the thing which you're creating. If it's, you know, a character, a mechanic, a weapon, or UI here, you need to feel it, test it in game, and just, you know, get to know how the thing you've created actually works. Because as they've said on their great presentation before, you never know how it works on paper and in game. It's 2 totally different things.
So yeah, and here one more thing about the fancy concept. The narrative team is working over here, making some texts and some tips and tricks. Meanwhile, we're using the placeholder or lorem ipsum text or something that we're providing. The same with the images. The concept art is working on images for a long period of time. We have several images that we can reuse for now. So some placeholders, some work in process is going.
So you've been in the industry for some time, and being a game dev is your everyday thing. It never stops being interesting, don't worry about that, but you know, just you get used to the fact that you work in Ubisoft and you're not like, oh my God, I'm working in Ubisoft. You're like, yeah, I'm working in Ubisoft. And that's, you know, your everyday.
Expectation versus reality, right? So what do you expect? Do you have your own, or would I start?
You better start.
Okay, so I have experience working with the IT and the corporate world, a little bit like in Asia. And the huge expectation reality was about the corporate. So I always imagine people wearing suits and shorts and have a lot of chain of emails. You know, when you need to contact someone, you go really long process. You need to be really like precise. It takes weeks and weeks. Here, we have internal software for communication, where again our chats and meetings that we go in daily, I can literally ping the person that I needed. Like once I was trying to figure out how works one feature, and I find the guy in Canada, the UI artist there, and I was like, hey, you know, I'm in Belgrade, I don't know how it works, can you explain this to me, please? And he's like, sure, I'm available in this and this and this time. And we have a presentation to explain to our team and to the programmers. So this is how it works. You can pretty much ping anyone in Ubisoft for help, for information, or just sharing experience, and I never heard anyone who say no, or like he doesn't want to, or something like that. So the ability to communicate quickly, to communicate efficiently, and people are willing, you know, to talk to you, they're interested, they want to help. This is, I think, one of the most important part for me.
For me, it was a bit different because I was freelancing for years, and while doing the masters, I was in that really small studio, which probably ended up being just me and one guy, but I'm not quite sure, even now. So I didn't have any like realistic views on how the office works and all that stuff. So I imagined that you know, just perfect. Everybody is smiling, everybody is passionate, everybody is amazing, the office is amazing, and once you get there, you actually see that you're privileged enough to see that your expectations are the reality presented to you. So I'm beyond happy, really.
Interesting part about UI is that, we thinking that we're going just to make beautiful mock-ups and just the visuals. And in the Belgrade studio, we are doing not just visuals, but we're also doing the integration part. And it's not always balancing, it depends on the project, whether it is like 70-30 or 80-20, it really depends. So you need to be ready to think. That's why we're looking for the people who are thinking and can logically, understand what's going to the games, what it is. What about the expectation and reality that I would like to add is the amount of the artists and the programmers. That's really interesting. So I was working with a huge design teams, like for 20 plus, I think, people for some projects. And there was not much the programmers because we did the front end. And here you have quite a lot of the programmers and the people on the tech side really deeply, and the artists are usually there to support them. So currently I'm working with like 5-6 programmers daily, and I'm supporting them and they're supporting me back and forth.
What makes your everyday amazing at work is people. And this isn't just a job, now that you're just sitting here, it's noon, afternoon, okay, it's almost 1, you're investing your time into the thing that you want to do. And obviously that you're here, you share the same passion as we do. And what's amazing is that all the people that got the job can only get the job if they are really, really passionate about gaming, because you probably won't be like, okay, I need to pay the bills, so I'm gonna be a game designer. No, you will adore games. You will have the games as one of the most important things in your life, and you will want to make them, and that's why you will end up in Ubisoft, because it's your passion. You just have to be passionate about this. You need to be sure that this is the only thing that you want to be doing, because everybody around you will be just like that. And if you don't have that 110% of passion in you, you will feel like you will not be able to work as good as the people around you, because everybody is geekish. Everybody. That doesn't matter how old they are. Everybody is super creative, even though if they're level designers, programmers, everybody's creative. Most of the people do music after work. Everybody is behaving like a family, and you really need to figure out the way to make your day of working not feeling like work. For me, after 8 hours of work, I don't feel like I was working, because I was doing the thing which I love. And I remember telling my mom when I was doing the interviews and all that stuff, she's like, how did it go? I don't know, but if I get the job, I'll be, flying to work from the feeling of, enlightenment and the love for all these things. And it's still like that, even after a year and a half. Only now do I get, the feeling that I'm going to work, but I don't feel tired after work. I'm ready to do whatever after work. So just make yourself comfortable and enjoy the privilege of actually working in games, because it's the best profession you can do.
Work for your chosen path. Look, I travel half of the world to figure out what I want to do. And I ended up here in Belgrade, and I'm really, really happy to be here. And being yourself, stick to who you are, who you want to be, right? What do you want to achieve and what do you want to do? In Ubisoft, like, small hint, we have opportunity to a little bit switch roles. So if you start one direction, you can just a little bit like, hey, you know what? I feel like this one a little bit more for me. Can I join? And it's possible. It's possible if you are dedicated. With the communication with the people, right? The more people you talk, the more you know what you want to actually to do here. With your team lead, with your mentor, we're all here to find your way to progress. And it all depends on you, really. Like there is, we talk about the corporate, right? How many thousand people here? I don't know, 20, 30?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's too much. Oof. But yes, you have your path that you can choose. And it really depends on you, what do you want to do and what you can achieve. So regarding this, I just hope that one day you'll find your black flags hanging from the windows with a sign that you want to join, click the button, and be who you are.
It's doable. You can do it. You can surely do it. If you cannot do it now, give yourself some time to invest in your skills and just try it out. Even though if you're not into UI, like I thought that I wasn't that much, it turned out to be the position for me. So experiment, do whatever you can, because everything is creative here.
Thank you, guys.